My name is Jeff Webb. I'm Tyler Webb's older brother by about 14 months. Shared a back bedroom at our house from the time I can remember, and we spent a lot of time together over the years growing up. First of all, I'd like to just thank everybody for coming out. Tyler has had this crazy capability my entire life. At 3 years old, people just come up and talk to him, and he'd just carry on a conversation with them. And then pretty soon there's a fourth, and a fifth, and a sixth. And so we appreciate you guys taking a little time out of your Saturday to come down. And I will tell you this, we as a family have done a lot of healing over the last month. We've had opportunities to be with him. We've had opportunities to have a service down in the valley. And so one thing we've come to find is, while there's certainly some sadness to be had with Tyler's passing, he would be the last person on earth who would want us all to sit around and this be a mournful event. So, number one, I'm sorry there aren't seats for everybody. It was a little communication element. But this is going to be a more lively event than maybe some things you've been to. Maybe a wake gets a little lively. I don't know. But it's to have a little fun. So, start off, just a quick story about Tyler and me. When we were, it was January of 1986. I was 14 years old. Tyler just turned 13. And all we wanted for Christmas was tickets to a concert for the band who in the 80s was going to be the Beatles of our generation, the Thompson Twins. And so all we wanted, we asked Santa Claus for them, and lo and behold, they came through, and we had a pair of tickets to go see the Thompson Twins on the 9th of January. We pinned them to the cork board in our room, and we walked past them and kissed them each day when we went by, and we were all excited about it. And it wasn't until 2 days before that we go, hey, I wonder where we're sitting. And we looked at it and said GA, and this was going to be our first concert. We had no idea what GA was, so we asked my mom, and she goes, oh, it's general admission. So there's no assigned seating. You can sit wherever you want. We're like, we can sit in the front row. And she goes, well, you'd have to get there early, but yeah. And so me and Tyler immediately engage in conversation. We're like, all right. So we got school tomorrow, but after school tomorrow, 3 p.m., Mom, you can drive us over there about 4, right? And we can go spend the night down at the Coliseum in downtown Phoenix as a pair of 13 and 14-year-olds and spend the night, concerts the next day at 8 p.m. What is that, 27 hours? Yeah, we should be fine. And the whole time my mom's going, nope, hey boys, that's not going to happen. And eventually it got through, and oh my goodness, that was a sincere argument, at least on my part. I don't think she ever budged an inch. But we went back to that back bedroom, and there was wailing and gnashing of teeth and punching of pillows. And when the tears finally dried, we came out and we said, all right, but you'll take us over on Saturday. And she goes, yeah, I'll take you over on Saturday. We were like, awesome. So like 5 a.m., and she's just like, no, like 10. And we're like, you're killing us, we're not going to get into it. And so the next morning, we negotiated down to 8 a.m., and the next morning we were up and ready to go. I think we left the house at 9:45. So that's how it went, right? So she takes us out there. There's a Wendy's across the street and a payphone because that's the only way you could talk to people back in the day. And she gave us a couple bucks and let us loose. And we go running in past the security guard into the parking lot, turn the corner, and we were fully expecting to be people, 10,001 and 10,002 waiting in line to see the Thompson Twins. And we were number 7 and 8. And so we couldn't believe our luck and how stupid people are to not get here earlier than 9 hours early before the concert. 20 minutes into that wait, we realized how long 9 hours standing in line is. And so we spent the day taking turns walking around the fairgrounds and Veterans Memorial Coliseum. The story about Tyler goes like this. The door's open. OMD is opening up for him. We bolt. We get to the rail, and we're right up front just to turn around, expecting to see this crush of people behind us. And most people are just kind of strolling in. And they're just sitting on the floor. So we sit down for an hour and a half, and finally OMD comes on, and people stand up for it, but that's about it. And so we stand front and center, just taking in the awe of a couple things. How loud it was, how much swearing there was. It was crazy. And just everybody seemed a lot older than us. But just thoroughly enjoyed that first part. Everyone sits down for the break. They start playing the interlude music, the preemptive music for Thompson Twins to come on, and everybody stands up, and 5,000 people on the floor of Coliseum start pushing forward. And we are bent over that rail, and pretty soon a couple 20-year-old guys are like angled in front of us, and we're a row or two back, and we're just pressed in this humanity. Well, Tyler, if you knew him growing up at all, I was always big for my age, and Tyler was always small for his age. So we look like we're 4 years apart, not 14 months apart. Well, Tyler at 13 and probably 5 feet tall was, excuse the phrase, but he was nipple height with everybody. Like, he was right here, and he was being crushed. And it was about 120 degrees with all the humanity. And all of a sudden I feel a tug on my sleeve, and I look over, and Tyler's eyes are rolling back in his head, and he can't, he's losing oxygen. And so we grab him, and we work our way out to the back, and we're behind everybody. He gets about 8 breaths and goes, all right, let's go. And I'm like, what? And he's like, come on, let's go back in. And Tyler goes straight back into the crowd. I've got to catch up with him. He's so small he can duck low and go underneath people, and I'm having to part the sea. And so we make our way to about the 3 or 4 rows back again, and all of a sudden they come on the stage, and it became to the point where I could stand and pick my legs up and not touch the ground. The press of people were holding us up. And they start playing, and about 3 songs in, I hear the girl behind me. She goes, I don't think this little kid's doing so well. And I turn around, I'm like, where's Tyler? And he is passed out being held up in the air by a press of people. And so her and her boyfriend were nice enough. They cleared a little space, grabbed him, and Tyler's first crowd surfing experience was unconscious at 13 years old. And I followed him to the line, and the security guard goes, no, I don't think so. You got to go around. I'm like, it's my little brother. And he's like, and so by the time I got around to him, he was awake. He was feeling better. He jumps up. He's like, come on, let's go get back. 4 times we did this, and that was Tyler. Tyler was the most indomitable spirit I think I can remember. His courage, his just daredevil nature. I could tell you 1,000 stories where someone goes, here's the line, and I'm not going to cross it, and Tyler just goes, I will, boom, and he jacks it up about 3 notches, and we'll go do it. So today, the other thing I know about Tyler is this. He was the first one in our family to pick up a guitar in high school. And from there, the other 3 brothers, we all kind of followed suit. And anytime we were sitting on a porch or at a camp out or on a boat or something like that, guitars came out. And we'd sing. So today, there's going to be some singing involved. And frankly, the best way to kind of get into the mood of things is this. The first song we're going to sing is All You Need Is Love, and we want everybody to sing along. So if you don't know the lyrics, please just pull your phone out, pull up the lyrics. And honestly, guys, we would love it if just everybody kind of got going on this with us. So Beatles, All You Need Is Love. Some of the brothers are going to play it and sing along with you. So we'll lead you into it. By the way, nobody is professional here, just FYI. Well, he was semi-pro. They did last time, did they? Or at least on the side. I just didn't see that.
All right, join in with this. There's nothing you...
You love.
Where is it?
Have you ever heard of the Beatles before, Travis?
That's Thompson Twins, then Beatles.
Close second.
What is it? G what? Just has two chords. E minor. Okay.
Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. There's nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be on time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. There's nothing you can know that can't be known. Nothing you can see that can't be shown. Nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. To start off with, actually one note on the music also. There's some songs in here that are very appropriate. There's at least one song in here that you shouldn't sing at a funeral probably, but Folsom Prison Blues was one of Tyler's favorites. So Shooting a Man in Reno is appropriate for this crowd because it reminds us of Tyler. So we'll start off with having Tyler's brother and sister, Lindsay Oberst and Travis Webb, give some life memories. After which Travis, who is the closest thing to a professional in this group, wrote a song about Tyler and his relationship. After that, a friend of Tyler's, Yuri Lewicki, is going to give some remembrances of Tyler. After which, Tyler's siblings will sing Folsom Prison Blues. After that, Eamon Mahoney, also a friend of Tyler's, will give some life remembrances. And then I'll come back up and we'll conclude. Travis and Lynn.
Okay, I don't have a loud voice.
Hold it in your hand instead of that mic stand.
Jeez. Okay. We're just gonna go kind of bounce back and forth and get through this. Okay. Today is about love. Shoot. I forgot my tissue. Mike. Thanks, bud. I'll take yours. I love Tyler. We had a really special relationship. I moved up to Flagstaff in 1998, and Carrie and Tyler moved not long after, and with Ellie. And I was so excited to have family up here. I loved going to their little blue house in Mountain Air. And it felt like home, and I was part of their family. I have so many good memories of that house. Oh, thanks. And the times that we spent there, we would take their Isuzu Trooper and just drive all around in the back there and just drive through the forest, which is the most time that we would spend. I mean, we would just drive and drive, looking for anything moving, like elk, deer, turkey, anything. And we'd stop and watch every single one of them. And we'd always have his dog in those times, Toby. That was the best. Tyler loved being outside. It was when I saw him and when we all saw him the happiest. He was so happy being out there hunting, driving around, going to the lake, traveling, going on trips. We used to go to Telluride with them a lot. And we all did, like, I remember one year Tyler carried me and my husband. We all ran Imogene together. And Tyler was just so awesome like that. He just would get up and was up for anything. Telluride, it was always so important to him. He just loved it because it was outdoors and the music there and just the vibe of the town. His friends were there. Tyler could play guitar and sing pretty dang good. And mostly Johnny Cash is what I remember, because it just fit his voice and his style of playing. But just not that long ago, a couple months ago, him and I, because I play guitar too a little bit, and we just sat down and we played the Shins, and my favorite, we played the Grateful Dead together, because he hadn't played Grateful Dead, but I love playing the Grateful Dead, so we just kind of sat there and played, and he was always so open and just loving, and we'd sing, and we just had such a great connection, and that's one of my favorite recent memories of him and I.
Pass it behind you.
Do you want to?
I'm Travis. I'm Tyler's younger brother. As I was thinking about how to talk about my brother there, and I shared this down in Mesa at the first memorial that we had for him, the two words that came to my mind when it comes to Tyler Webb, they're kind of dichotomous. It's tough and it's tender. He had this really tough element to him. Like, he's not the kid that you would find crying if he went head first over a curb off his skateboard. He just was tough like that, and yet he was tender. So some of the memories I want to share are just kind of a back and forth on tough and tender. Tyler, the first memory I have of Tyler, conscious memory, was laying in a bunk bed, but it wasn't a stacked bunk bed, it was a staggered bunk bed. I don't know why, maybe we just made something up there, but I was young and I wasn't sleeping, and I remember Tyler singing the Muppet song to me. If you guys remember the Muppet Show, it's time to start the party or whatever, light the lights, I can't remember what it was. But, Tyler had to have been about 8 or 9 and singing that song to me. And when it got done, and this is, for whatever reason, was so touching to me, as I said, Tyler, can you sing it again? He actually knew the words. I think he knew them top to bottom. He started over, and I'll always have that picture of Tyler at a very young age, just being sweet to his younger brother, enough to sing kind of a corny song because his younger brother liked it.
Okay. Our lives, Tyler's and my lives, have always been intertwined. I worked with him at Mountain Home, Game Room and Spa. He hired me there. He was the first family member in my family to meet my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, of 14 years. And being at the hospital with all of our kids being born, buying homes together, lake days, family vacations. My husband, Mike, and Tyler, from day one, have had so many things in common. They're becoming pretty best friends and always have been really close. They could talk about anything and everything, mostly hunting, trucks, sports, restaurants, and their favorite beverages. I loved the relationship because they were and they are my two favorite guys. The last few years, it's been the three of us. Tyler was at my house. I lived down in Mesa a lot. One of my most favorite things recently is he was just at my house hanging out, and I told him, I'll be back. I'm going to go get a pedicure. I'm going to be back. I got to go do that. And he's like, well, I want to go get a pedicure too. And I was like, what? Like, you want to come with me? And it was so funny because I know guys get pedicures, but that's not like usually our guy vibe.
Not yet.
It's coming.
It's coming.
And it was just so fun. We just sat there and we cracked up the whole time. He was making the funniest jokes about himself. It was just so fun. Tyler, Mike, and I were always on the hunt for delicious restaurants, whether up in Flagstaff, because we came up here all the time and stayed with him, or down in the valley. He loved Dick's Hideaway. He loved, Pizza Colada, all the really yummy places up here. He loves good Mexican food and tacos, and he always wanted to open up a taco truck. He wanted to just quit his job and open up a taco truck. And I loved his idea, the most recent one, and it just cracks me up. He wanted to open a taco truck for ex-cons that could work there. And so he would hire all these people that were out of jail. He had such a great attitude towards people and never judged people. And he knew it was hard for people to get jobs after they were in jail. And he thought about it, like a lot. Like, we had conversations about this, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know, but
What was he going to call it? Con taco?
he wanted to call it Convict Taco. And I thought it was just such a great name. And then he said, on Wednesday we'd have Pig Wednesday, and all the cops can come and eat for free. And I don't know. He's just so bright and funny. He could cook and make delicious tomatillo salsa. He was so much like my dad that way. Like, anything that's in the refrigerator, he'd just kind of make a delicious meal out of it. Which I'm not like that. I have to use a recipe of some sort. But we went to hockey games with Tyler a lot. We had season tickets with him for the Coyotes and for 1 year. And just a couple weeks before he passed, we were all at the Coyotes game with my whole family and all his kids. I don't know where to stop. I don't know. So the mornings that he would be at my house were always my favorite time with Tyler. We wake up and we all just wanted to hang out together. We would have something to do, but we would never seem to get it done. We would sit around my island. Mike and Tyler would have their coffee, and we'd just sit there for hours and talk and talk and talk. We'd talk about everything. And we'd be like, we got to get up. We got to go do whatever. We got to go and do this. We got to go feed our children, or whatever it was. And we just end up staying there and talking forever. Go ahead.
Tyler loved boxing. When we were kids, we got a Nintendo, and one of the games that we got with the Nintendo was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Getting to Mike Tyson was one thing. Some of us made it to Mike Tyson. Tyler hated video games. He'd rather be out throwing a stick at someone or riding a bike off something, he just was active. But Tyler came in and he played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and he beat Mike Tyson. To this day, you could ask any of the kids in that back room, what do you remember most about Tyler Webb? And if they haven't seen him since that day, they'd say, he's the guy that beat Mike Tyson. He's the guy that actually took him out. Well, his love of boxing eventually led to getting boxing gloves in the family. We had a trampoline out back. And Jeff and Tyler, like Jeff said, were about a year apart. Fighting Jeff was like fighting a Buick. You're not gonna knock Jeff down. So Tyler went to the next best brother to box. Now, we weren't a year apart. We were 5 years apart, and I was an easy target. There's Tyler called me Cranium Boy because my head hasn't grown since birth. This is the size I came out at, and you were the next one born. I think that was an easy delivery.
Yeah, yes.
It just kind of fell out, But I had this. Hey, Tyler, how would you want me to tell you? Okay. I'm telling you the way Tyler would have me tell you. I had this huge head and spaghetti noodles for arms, so I was an easy target. And all I remember before going sideways off the tramp every time we boxed was Tyler saying, double left hook. He'd hit you in the stomach and you'd do this, and then he'd throw another left hook and hit you in the head. He was not very predictable. I remember boxing him, and it would usually end up with me taking off the gloves and throwing them at him. And there's that kind of tough kid, but he was, once again, back to tender. He was always sweet about it. He'd jump off and check on me and call me a baby, and then help me back up on the tramp, and I don't want to do it. And you'd see that mop flopping around back there. Tyler loved boxing. I think, I don't love boxing, but we loved watching the fight together. Tyler was a great buddy to watch sports with. Yeah.
Okay. The last few years were tough on Tyler and his family. I was lucky enough to be the one that Tyler would call and talk to. We'd talk again for hours and hours, and he needed somebody to process his thoughts and feelings too. Sometimes I felt like I was neglecting my kids and my husband and my family because we would talk for hours, and when I'd finally get off the phone with him, I'd be just mentally exhausted because life was just heavy. But I never regretted it. And I know that he needed me. My family knew, my kids and my husband knew that he needed me. And it was so nice to talk to him about everything and anything. We really just became so even closer than I could ever imagine the last couple of years. Tyler was so good about telling me how much he loved me and how much he appreciated everything I did for him. And he would say, one day, I swear, I'm going to be over myself, and I'm going to help you, and I'm going to take care of you. And I really thought that day would come, but it's just not coming in this life. I'll see him again. I know he's with us. I know he's all right now, and I'm just so grateful for that. I feel him in my life even now. I just thought that we were going to grow old together because we were so close. And I'm just sad he won't see my children grow up and his children, but he's still with us, I know. No more.
Tyler was protective. He loved his own. He served a mission for the LDS Church, Washington, D.C., from the time he was about 20 to 22. When he got home, I think it was in the summer, in November we had a turkey bowl. This is a Thanksgiving Day football match, and I would have been about 17 or so, and I'm guarding this guy who's just big and strong, and we're joking, we're laughing, we're slapping, we're kind of running up and down I thought we were joking. He didn't think we were joking. Pretty quick, there was a pass thrown. It wasn't caught, and I kind of nudged him like this, and as I put my arm out, he grabbed my wrist and my elbow, and what do you call it, like an arm bar? Put me down on the ground. This guy's got to be 30, I'm 17, and he's got his hand in the back of my neck, shoving, don't touch me again, kind of thing, and you hear kind of this pattering of footsteps, and here comes 114-pound Tyler, like blazing across the field, and shoves this guy off and says, don't touch my brother. He, of everybody else there, he's the one that ran over, and he was giving up a lot to this guy. I don't think Tyler thought about the consequences of his own safety, some good ways, some not so good ways. He was the guy that would jump off the cliff nobody would dream about jumping off. But he was protective, full of love, full of courage.
My last few things I just want to say is just some things that I love about Tyler, my favorite things about him. My number one thing is how much he loved his kids and how much he talked about you guys and thought about you and loved you so much. He loved my kids so much, and he always would take over and help me with my little crazy child. And he'd just take him over and just let me go and do what I need to do, and he'd just go take care of Holden for me. He always made me laugh. We had the same sense of humor, but yet he was so much more wittier than I was. He made jokes about himself. He always made jokes about his cowboy tuxedo, his all denim outfit. Another thing is he had such a fantastic energy about him. People would be drawn to him. And he was so magnetic. You can't deny that. Every one of you guys who know him know that about him. Him and I could hang out for days and days on our trips, or when he'd just come down and stay from Thursday to Sunday in my house. We'd never get sick of each other. He was always up for anything. He was always ready to go get some food. We'd go shopping. We'd go on trips. We'd go hunting. We'd invite him to our family vacations, and he'd come. Hockey games, baseball games, weekends in Sedona, Sunday nights, always watching sports, football together, playing games. He always showed up, always. I don't know anyone else in my life who always shows up for anything with me. No, nobody else would just be like, yeah, I'm there, I'm going to be there. He was there. The best thing about him last was how kind and generous he was. He was always willing to offer up his car, his boat, his house, money to people, friends in need, strangers. And he had such a big heart for people. And I loved when he showed that side of him. That's it.
When Tyler left on that mission, he left his guitar. I don't think he intended for me to find it, but I found it. And learned how to play some chords upside down. They didn't sound very good. Once I figured out that I was playing them upside down, they started to sound better. When he got home, we had that in common. Always one thing about Tyler that was unique is everybody's always been sweet. I played in a band for a little while, and everybody was always sweet. Your music's great, but Tyler would listen to it. Like he had the ear to pick it apart and either give me constructive. I can't say he ever gave me any negative feedback. Maybe he was lying a little bit, but he always gave me such sweet feedback on the things that we had that we had in common. In fact, one of the last texts I received from him was a text that said, "Hey, me and Ellie are listening to your music. She knows every word. Your stuff is really good. I love you, brother." Why did I tell that story before I have to sing? Now I got to try and choke through this. This is a song called "Let Me Listen." Lindsay just shared with you. She feels like she was the one that he called. Truth is, I got to talk to Tyler a lot about some deep stuff, and when he would call, I noticed something about him, and maybe this is in honor of Tyler, an invitation to everybody when somebody's hurting. I don't think they need solutions and a bunch of opinions. They need you to tune into them. They need you to listen. And so this song was written a little while ago, and one of the choruses especially was written in reference to Tyler. So I don't know where to put the mic. Oh well, try it out. Bloodshot eyes and a blinkless stare, just confirmation that no one cares. His head, hands, and heart come apart. He tries to make it, he tries to stay focused on life in a positive way. Nothing ever seemed to work. That's where we come in. I'm here for you, friend. We'll end isolation. We'll move some emotion and build a relation. You matter to me. You matter to others. A massive family of sisters and brothers. True. Let me listen to you. Strangely enough, as you start to say that you've been praying nearly every day for someone to show that they care. That's where we come in. Nothing can take us. We stand together. Things will improve, yeah, things will get better. You matter to me, you matter to others. A massive family of sisters and brothers, true. Let me listen to you. Confidence builds and connection returns. A once cold heart starts to burn. You're right there, you are on your way. Just keep on reaching, I'm here for you, friend. We'll end isolation, we'll move some emotion, build a relation. You matter to me, you matter to others. A massive family of sisters and brothers. Nothing can take us, we stand together. Things will improve, yeah, things will get better. You matter to me, you matter to others. A massive family of sisters and brothers, true. Let me listen to you.
That was amazing. Thanks. This is the first time I've spoken at something like this before. I fear I might not be asked back, but Tyler and I were kind of secret brothers, I think. And even though I was older than him, I feel like I was a younger brother in a lot of ways. I kind of have written this big thing, and I'm just amazed at the emotion attached that I felt for Tyler. I would always want to be doing more things with him, and I didn't get that opportunity in a lot of ways. That's why I kind of say I'm the secret guy. And just seeing all you guys here, it's obvious. Good company, good friends. We lost a great one. There's no doubt. So what I'd ask from you right now is a little participation. I'd ask everybody, close your eyes or look up to the sky. Hold your loved one's hand. Do whatever you feel you need to do at this moment. But let's take a moment of silence, not just any moment, a real one. Empty your minds, open your hearts. Give me, give yourselves, give Tyler that moment. Here we go. Thanks. This morning I watched the moonlight on the fresh snow, and I smiled because Tyler was there. So were some others that I've lost. And what a glorious morning for remembrance. It was incredible. I was asked by Carrie a week ago if I would speak at this memorial, and my response was I'd be absolutely honored. There was no doubt. Since then, I've been trying to collect and organize my thoughts and memories, at the same time trying to figure out how was I going to put all this together and express something meaningful to all of you. And I've had numerous dialogues and speeches running through my head, some discussing Tyler's glories, his challenges, his triumphs, his failures. Some remarking about his friends, his loved ones. But the common theme that kept appearing time and time again was, what message would Tyler want me to send? And I felt really strong that there was a message. He wouldn't want sorrow. He wouldn't want grieving. He certainly was strong, confident, and yet tender. He would want healing. Healing through connection. Healing through being present. Healing through slowing down and cherishing our time alone and that time that we have with loved ones. Tyler Webb, who is to me and to many others a humble spirit, caring, an entrepreneur, a maverick, as well as a MacGyver in the fullest sense. And for those of you that don't know MacGyver, you got to YouTube him because he's incredible. He would take duct tape and a Swiss Army knife and make anything work. And Tyler did that. He was a teacher and he was a student. And all of the greats realize that they cannot know it all. And thus learning becomes a lifelong pursuit. They also realize that sharing that knowledge is a must. It completes the circle of humanity and humility. And Tyler exemplified that to the fullest. Major life events move the needle of change, and today's an opportunity for that change. It's an opportunity for reconnection, an opportunity for reflection and connection. It cannot simply stop with acceptance. Back in med school, there was a class we had to take called Social and Behavioral Sciences. And one of the things that they taught us was the stages of grieving. And just like in med school, you have to come up with mnemonics for everything because there's so much information that's being thrown at you. But the mnemonic was DABDA. And it starts off with denial. And there's no doubt, when I heard about the news of Tyler's death, I was in complete denial. The next one comes as anger. And certainly I felt that, and I still feel that. Followed by bargaining. Anger and bargaining tend to be the twin sisters because you make up if I would have done this or done that, then things would have been different. And it just makes you angry again. Following that is depression, which I'm sure that some of us are experiencing. And finally, they say you accept it. But it would seem our society acceptance all too often means forgetting and diving back into our rapid, chaotic pace of life. And I think that's part of the message that Tyler is trying to share. We've got to slow down. We've got to connect. We need to reflect. Staying so busy that time for reflection and the potential pains that there are, we tend to avoid that by staying busy. I'm refusing to allow that to happen, and I hope that you guys will do the same. I would challenge that an additional letter needs to be added to our indoctrinated stages of grieving so that grieving stages can actually become healthy. That letter would be an R, and it's an R for remembrance, which quite profoundly on the program that wasn't given today, which is fine. My little theme was remembrance, which I thought was pretty wild. There are parts of his life that I did not participate in, but I always wish I would have. Our boats were parked in the same warehouse. And sometimes I'd come to check on my boat because I kind of do that. And I know he did the same. And he'd have his wetsuit and his ski rope and all of his gear out drying And all I could do was smile, but deep inside I also was a little jealous because I knew I hadn't been out there with him that day. That's how amazing friends and amazing people are. We must cherish the time that they give us. You know an individual is an amazing person when they make those around them better. And Tyler did that. Life is about taking chances and risk, and he did all of that. Certainly with his adventure down to South America and all that took place. One of the most amazing stories he also shared with me was his hiking to Havasupai. He was working at the same time, but that didn't stop him. His family was down there, and he hiked them in, and then hiked out to cover a case, and then hiked back down in to be with his family. That's amazing. Amazing. I was lucky enough to return to Havasupai, Eamon and I both, and we shared a little bit less of a chaotic hiking time, maybe some more time for reflection, and that was beautiful. My youngest son has a very special relationship with Milo, mountain biking and being friends, and I've seen that blossom, and it's absolutely beautiful to watch. Carrie, I know he loves you dearly. He really did. Ellie, Beck, Olivia, little Milo, wherever you are, I know you're here. You guys were the gems of his heart. That was for sure. I will continue to miss Tyler, but I'm going to carry his memories and his wisdom with me. His inquisitive style, his desire to create the absolutely ultra-modified surgical instrument that he would design simply for me to make my life easier. Only myself and Majorca's welding are aware of that. And I'm a little surprised that he didn't purchase Majorca's because he had so many ideas about creating different instruments. Perhaps that was in the cards that never got played. Maybe similar to the convict taco truck. I'm pledging I'm not falling prey to our American process of grieving. I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to move on. I'm not going to become so busy that there's not time to connect, not time to reflect and be a part of things. Every time I go surfing, I'm going to make a turn and I'm going to remember Tyler. And when I hike the canyon, I'm going to take a step and I'm going to remember. I'm going to hug my children, I'm going to hug my loved ones, and I'm going to remember. That's your legacy, Tyler. Another gift amongst many that you bestowed upon us. Thank you for touching mine and my family's lives. Thank you for touching the lives of those around us. So I say to Tyler Webb, a friend, fallen but never forgotten. Thanks.
Thank you, Eamon. In the interest of seats and time, we're going to skip Folsom Prison Blues, so just roll through it in your head if you want, and we'd like to invite Eamon to come up and share his thoughts.
Yuri, that was a pretty good remembrance. Pretty tough to beat that one. Once again, this is also my first time I've ever done anything like this, and hopefully my last. I want to thank everybody for coming out here today to celebrate and honor the life of an incredible man. I was going to wear a denim shirt, but I didn't have one. But that picture there is just perfect because if I think of Tyler, I think of his denim shirt. I think it was a Wrangler shirt, and he wore it all the time. And I'm not sure if he washed it or not, but it was always on him. And I actually thought about wearing a Canadian tux or a cowboy suit because that would have been a good honor to him. Milo, Olivia, Beck, and Ellie, I'm sure, and you've already been told this today, but your father loved you guys so much, and you were really his pride and joy. He always talked about you guys, the trips that you took. He loved that trip that he took with you back to Iceland and taking Milo out hunting and getting Ellie off to college and getting her going. You guys meant everything to him. Tyler lived his best life ever. He lived life to the fullest. If you ever question that, all you had to do was take one look at his garage. The first time I went into his garage, I was thoroughly jealous. He had a toy for everything. It just showed what he did and how he loved doing everything. He had that F-350 with the massive camper in the back that he took you guys down through Mexico, through Central America, onto a boat from Panama to Colombia, and then down through South America, all the way to Chile. I think that's where you guys ended up, right? Yeah. He had mountain bikes, kayaks, paddle boards, guns for his hunting, camping gear, skateboards, snowboards, and axes. The man loved his axes, and when I walked in here, I saw the hatchet, and I was like, wow, I prepared for this speech and had no idea that someone was going to bring his hatchet here. This, I can never remember the name of the company. It's Gransford Brook out of Sweden, and he researched axes and hatchets like no other. So if you ever had a question about what hatchet to get, because everybody needs to have a hatchet, Tyler was the man to talk to. And if you guys are interested in a hatchet, take a look at this one and write it down, because this is a classic, hand forged in Sweden. And that's how I know about that, is because of Tyler. Tyler was an encyclopedia, or for the youngins here, a Wikipedia of information for a lot of stuff that really had minimal use. He knew a lot. It was incredible, his memory and his recall ability of information. Hiking boots was one of them. We were in Telluride together and went to an outdoor store, and we were looking at hiking boots, because that's what you should be doing, especially when you don't need any hiking boots. And he'd just pick up this brand and be like, wow, this is a great hiking boot. You should have one of these. And, I'm surprised Tyler didn't buy a pair while we were there, but that's what he enjoyed. He loved to research products and loved to research gear, and that's what he did. Tyler was quality. He was genuine and honest, and he wanted to do the right thing. And he showed that in his life. He moved up here with Carrie with not much in his pocket. He sold hot tubs to make a living, and he got himself through school. And he did all that while raising his young family. And it's pretty incredible. I was always awestruck by the stories he would tell, and I don't know how. I don't think I could do that. And he actually developed a very successful business with a device distributorship in orthopedic hardware. He was a rep at one time, and he wanted to be his own boss. He didn't want to work for a company. And he developed his own distributorship, which is pretty impressive. And he was a very hard worker. The other thing about him was that he wanted to only sell high quality instruments. And he did a lot of research. And I was talking to a guy who's here, Andy, about that. And Andy said, same exact thing. One of the products that I used that Tyler brought was a company called Titan, and Tyler actually turned down Titan at first, and it took a couple of years for him to get into it. And because he wanted to do his own research about it and make sure it was a good product. He didn't want to sell any old instrument that he could have made money on, but wasn't a very good product. He wanted to be known to have good products. And the two companies that he had the most was Tournier, which is a shoulder replacement, and the Titan product line, and they were quality products. And I always respected him for that, because it meant something that he was. It is a value to him, and this is not always the norm. A lot of distributors out there, they don't care as long as they can make money. they'll sell it. And that wasn't Tyler. Tyler will be missed. I know I already miss him, and everybody here does. And the stories that we've heard today have been just amazing. He'll be missed for years to come. And don't worry about me remembering. That's going to be part of it. I actually have a picture from that camping trip to Havasupai Falls in my house. It's actually in my bathroom above my toilet. And so it's a picture of a waterfall. It helps you go to the bathroom if you're a guy. And every time I look at it, I think I'm thinking of Tyler. So Tyler, when I go to the bathroom, I think of you. But it's a beautiful picture, and I think of that trip that we did with Milo and Ellie and the Lewickis. It was a great time that we had. So Tyler, I hope you're somewhere where the forests are full of deer and elk with huge racks. There's an Irish blessing goes, "May the wind be at your back." But the Irish aren't really big hunters. Otherwise, they'd probably say, "May the wind be in your face." Either way, may the wind be in your honor. Thank you for coming and listening to my stories.
Thank you, Eamon. So, in closing, thank you guys again for coming. I wanted to just take 1 second and share one other thing. As most of you probably know, because I think Tyler said it was his most proud thing that he's done. I'm sure that means outside of his kids. Is they took a year, hired someone to cover business, and took a year and drove down to Chile with his family, his wife, his kids, and his dog. And the rig that they took is parked right out front here. And stick your head in, take a look, take a sniff. No, I'm just kidding. I was always stunned by it. I lived in the Amazon for a couple of years, and that right there represents about 10 years' income for most people in South America. And I'm like, you're crazy, Tyler. Someone is going to rob you, steal your daughters. Like, seriously, you don't understand how desperate situations. And I really tried to lay out the warning for him and say, I hope you're not getting in over your head. And when he got back, I said, how was it? Did you run into any problems? He's like, nah, you just learn how to deal with, the police that want bribes. You just say, okay, take me into your commandant or whoever, and we'll settle it there. Well, now you're just wasting their time because they're not going to take you into the commandant. Most time they'll just be like, all right, just get out of here, So that year was an impressive thing. I don't know how many people I've met in my life that are willing to do something like that or courageous enough to do something like that. And I know that you guys meant the most to him. I know the main reason he did it was because he felt things getting out of kilter a little bit. He wanted to spend time with you guys. I think everything that gave Tyler heartache was stripped away on that trip, and he got to spend time with you guys and be himself. I'd say this about my brother. I'll miss him. We'll smile with you. We'll think of you when we hug someone. I'll think of you if I ever jump off of a 100-foot cliff. And we'll think of you when we pull out the guitars and sing about you. On their trip, there was a song by Dan Auerbach called Going Home. And I said some songs weren't going to be appropriate. This is one of the appropriate songs. It was kind of their anthem on getting home at some point in time after a year. So we're just going to play it to close this. But we love you. We appreciate you. I would say the lyrics are good enough that I'd pull it up if you want to pull it up on your phone. Dan Auerbach, Going Home. No G on the going, just Goin, home. Otherwise, you got to sort through all kinds of other stuff on your phone to find it. Take a little time, and the last thing I would say is this. If you haven't signed the book, please sign the book. But even better, if you have a moment, jump on his Facebook page or on the link that we put up, the website, and share a memory. It's our honestly, I can't tell you how much joy we've taken from that. So if you have something that just is your memory with Tyler, or a picture of him or something that you'd like, just jump on there and put it up there. That's the best memorial we can have for Tyler. So thank you very much. And Chip?
I could have done. Gone on the days of endless grace. I know I'm not the only one. So long, I'm going home. I saw the streets alright with you by the knees in the lonely light. They tried to make me welcome there, but their streets did not feel like mine. So long, I'm going home. I want the sun to hit my face through old trees in